rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Well, good morning.
I still love that opening music.
I know. Hey,
that was Mike Hendry.
Yeah, he
100%
picked, yeah, he was jamming it. Right?
That wasn't him playing.
He picked the music. But anyway, good morning. This is Get It Right Texoma with the trio, and the trio. Although we do have a trio, the traditional trio includes Mike back here, but Trey and myself, Terry. And who do we got over here?
Steve Garner.
Yeah.
Guest and co-host, actually.
Yeah, there we go.
Steve's more than a guest. He's a co-host. He comes in with us and sits in the whole thing. So.
Yeah, he's gotten a raise in his salary. And
I tell you what, you know what? I'm so excited about that.
He's just like George Jefferson, moving on up, moving on. He walked in here popping and locking.
Yeah, there we go. So,
by the way, did Sherman Hisley had the best walk? Swag walk of all time.
Oh, yeah.
On the Jeffersons when open.
Well, I think Obama tried to emulate it.
Yeah, good luck. You ain't no Sherman Hemsley, baby. You ain't no George Jefferson. Yeah, and Michelle ain't no Wheezy.
No. That's right. So, but anyway, we
go live every Friday morning at 7:30 on Facebook and YouTube, and of course, this morning's guest and really co-host is Steve Garner here. So
there we go. So please comment and share, and because we like to hear from you. I've gotten some feedback on some things, and I appreciate that. Hopefully, my sound is not dropping out here every once in a while. So we did a tweak to the soundboard, and but otherwise, let's get into it.
Absolutely.
This is Get It Right Texoma.
First order of business, like always, our local restaurant focus, and this is one of my go-tos. If I ever have breakfast burritos or breakfast tacos, is Gutierrez Family Restaurant. They're right there on East Side Drive, Martin Luther King Blvd. Yeah. So they're right around the corner from my store.
Yep.
Locally owned, family owned for a long time, authentic, high quality Tex-Mex.
There you go. Yeah, they've got it, man.
It's phenomenal.
It's
phenomenal.
It's probably more Mex than Tex, right?
To some degree, they have both. Yeah, they have the traditional because they
right.
do have the menudo and that sort of thing. They have the traditional Mexican fare, but they also have some Tex-Mex flavor to it.
Right.
But great food, great people, really good service right there. You go there at lunch, and it is packed.
Right. Well, and apparently they're open because they got breakfast burritos or something, breakfast stuff. Cause,
they do.
They're open.
They're closed on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
They're closed on Tuesdays. But now the trick is the breakfast burritos are massive. I mean, they're huge, and I can eat one, but it's just I feel like I'm way overstuffed. So here's the trick: get two breakfast tacos.
Okay.
It's plenty of food. It's actually it will really fill you up. Two breakfast tacos will fill you the brim, but it's about half the food, the amount of food for a breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
Because a breakfast burrito is, I mean, if you eat a breakfast burrito by yourself from Gutierrez, you eating some food.
Yeah, you're done for the day.
Yeah.
Probably so. Okay.
So, but they have, like I said, all traditional Mexican fare, and of course then they have their tacos, their street tacos. If you go breakfast burritos, their chorizo is great. So chorizo, bacon, egg, cheese, and onion on corn tortillas, you can't beat that. But also their tacos, if you like Mexican street tacos, their Mexican street tacos. Yeah. The little corn tortillas with cilantro and onion, and then they have a whole host of meats you can get. You don't just get a meat. You can get ground beef. You can get steak. You can get chicken. You can get asada. You can get gusada. You can get tripa. You can get lingua, I believe, which is tongue.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. You can have that.
Yeah. I don't eat the lingua. No.
Yeah.
I don't eat menudo. I don't eat lingua. I don't eat tripa. I think that's how you say it. So, anyhow. Really good food, good people, good prices. It's fair. It's fair and reasonable prices.
Yeah,
that's why they're packed at lunch.
Yeah. Oh,
Steve, you are right. They are packed at lunch.
And I want to add one bit. One of the things that I have a hard time sometimes when I'm out, because I love Mexican food. Salsas are hit or miss.
Yeah.
The salsa at Gutierrez is an absolute hit.
Right.
Sometimes you'll get something that's just overpowered with onions. Sometimes you'll get stuff that's just too slick. Sometimes you'll get stuff that the cilantro is just, that's all you taste.
But or salt. The other one, they load up with salt.
Yeah. But the salsa there is just excellent.
You hit it right. And also, the same. I feel the same way about guacamole.
Yeah.
Guacamole is hit and miss too. And guacamole is one of those. To me, it's either I like it or I don't like it at all. Yeah. But their guacamole is really good.
It is.
So, but you're right. Their salsa is a good hit. It's really smooth and yeah. I'm not a big. I like a little cilantro, but not too much.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mexican parsley. Yeah. What cilantro is.
Yeah, and I guess there's a gene about that if you have a certain gene, it tastes like soap, and people don't like it.
You know,
I've heard that before.
I didn't know that, but I've
heard
had
that.
several of my friends make that comment.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I
didn't realize.
Yeah,
that.
apparently So it's what I don't know. Maybe that's just an urban legend.
I love learning fresh things.
Yeah,
so
I think it's
confirm
pretty cool
it with ChatGPT, and then we'll see.
because they're always right.
Yeah, well, but
Anyhow.
something like that probably is legit.
Gutierrez Mexican Restaurant. Go check them out.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right. So what's next?
Next up, one of the staples in things in Wichita Falls that comes annual events. Mm-hmm. The University Kiwanis Club Pancake Festival.
Yes, and we are a sponsor,
tomorrow.
by the way. We're a sponsor.
Who is?
MacTech Solutions.
MacTech Solutions.
Yes, yeah, we're a sponsor.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a nice little ad on their digital. They're going to have a little monitor.
It's a massive monitor.
Yeah.
It's
is it big? Oh, okay. So
they had it last year. It was a huge hit, Terry. Yeah. And it's as you walk in, and get your ticket, and then you go around the corner and get your plate, and then you go down the line and get your pancakes and sausage. Okay. Off to your left, back where you get your chocolate milk and stuff, that screen hangs down. It's a massive board. Massive.
Well, all right. Well, I'm going to show you all here. I'll work on it here, but I'll show you my ad. I'm proud of that ad.
Will you pull the Pancake Festival thing up here?
Right, but I haven't. Yeah, but the pancake. Yes, it is on.
You can get tickets now, but the good news is you can get tickets at the door.
Yes,
I think you save $1 if you get them ahead of time.
Correct.
But you get tickets at the door. They're open from 6 to 6. Yep. Pancake, sausage, and drinks.
Yeah.
Orange juice, chocolate milk, and that sort of thing.
White milk, chocolate milk.
Yeah, that's right, and it's all you can eat.
Yeah.
So but of course, if you can eat a huge stack of pancakes, boy.
Oh yeah, I can just do they're rich.
I can do 2 pancakes sometimes when I'm really really hungry. I can do part of a third one, but that's a lot of food.
It really and pancakes are so dense, but they're good. Yeah. They're not dense as in crappy dense. They're good, and they'll make Mickey Mouse pancakes if you want the Mickey Mouse ears, and I'm sure Judge Gossam, Woody Gossam, who's county judge for a long time, will be there.
He will be there
flipping pancakes. He's a staple at that, but. Kiwanis Club does so much good in the community, and this is their big fundraiser every year. And the neat thing about it is you go in, it's at the JS Bridwell Center. You go in, and it's kind of open seating. They just have tables set up. Mm-hmm. So you'll sit down, and you can meet new people, or you could sit down and catch up with people you've known. I go to this stuff every year. This is like this, and there's several other events that I don't see people but 1 time a year or 2 times a year or 3 times a year at these events.
Yeah.
But it's almost like people you've known forever, and you sit down and you catch up.
Woody, several years ago, said to him, it just feels like the largest family reunion you could have.
That's a great way to put it.
Because you're exactly right. You'll see people there that you've known for 30 years, and you get to see them once a year, maybe twice a year, sometimes every couple of years. But it's just a great time, and the environment is you get catch up with them. You can spend 6 to 10 minutes catching up and talking because you're not in a hurry to get your groceries paid for or get the gas in the truck. I mean, you got a few minutes to sit and catch up.
Absolutely, yeah. And they're open for 12 hours, so if you want to sit for a long time and hold court, you can do that.
You can do that.
So
yeah. Go ahead.
JS Bridwell Center tomorrow morning.
Yeah, there it is. So there's the ad right there.
Oh, cool.
I used some AI here.
Oh, I like the Kiwanis.
That's hard to believe that you use
although
AI.
they misspelled it. AI misspelled it. Yes. Yeah, they threw a T in there. But this is but back over here. But I got another one to show you though. But I've been playing with AI, man. I've done it. But let me go back. Hey, wait a minute. Get back to the right tab.
Been playing with AI. You were on the tip of the spear of AI.
Yeah.
You were on ChatGPT years ago.
Yeah. So here's the ad. They got a Facebook page for an event and all that good stuff. But the other thing that I have here, let me show you.
I used to tell Terry I thought he must have had stock in ChatGPT. He's trying to shove it down everybody's throat a few years ago.
There's the let's see if it'll. Oh, hang on. I'm learning the tech here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to move on.
While you're playing with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the championship soccer team at MSU, because from 9 to 10 at the Pancake Feed, Coach Meacham is going to be one of our celebrity flippers.
Oh, that's cool.
And the team is going to be there with the national championship trophy, so that anybody that's out there can meet the team, get a picture with the team members, team trophy, and that's going to be between 9 and 10.
9 and 10.
Between 9 and 10.
That's great. I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
That's the first time in our community's history.
Yeah, to have a national championship.
It's a national championship soccer team from MSU.
Yeah.
But it's the first time ever I have a national championship of anything, I believe, isn't it?
I don't
Has there
remember.
been some tennis maybe or something?
I don't know if there were. I don't think there was a national championship tennis team, and
I don't think basketball ever has, and I know football hasn't.
Back when Stockton was coached, did they not? And it was NAIA Division II.
Maybe they did, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
If it isn't the first, then it has been a long time.
Yeah. All right, I got it queued up here.
All right,
so let's. This is the other thing I have.
Hey there, I'm Trooper MacTech's short-legged, long-trusted mascot. My friends at MacTech Solutions are proud to support the University Kiwanis Club Pancake Festival happening January 31st, 2026 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the MPEC right here in Wichita Falls. While you're stacking pancakes, just remember we stack Apple tech. Macs, iPhones, iPads, we fix them all. MacTech is Apple authorized and Trooper approved.
Yeah.
So enjoy the syrup. We've got your support covered. Awesome. See y'all at the festival.
The only problem is the voice.
I know.
You should have had row Raggy. You should have had more of a Scooby Doo.
I know.
Come to the Rampage Festival.
I didn't have time
to.
But anyway,
See, if you'd have had me, I'd have voiced that thing for you.
It's a JS Bridwell.
Yeah.
JS Bridwell.
Oh, it's a JS. Okay, sorry.
That's all right. That's okay.
Well, no, it's Impact, right? Overall.
No, it's two different.
Oh, that's right, Bridwell.
I think the Bridwell is Bridwell part of the Impact.
Well, it's
it's
part of it's a separate facility, but part of the city.
Gotcha.
Right, but it is you're going to be on the wrong side of the river.
Yeah, don't go to the Impact then. All right.
Yeah, don't go to the flag.
Yeah, they've got something's going on at the Impact this weekend at the same time.
Okay.
Well, if you walk in and there's no pancakes there, then you know you're
Has it been at Impact though before?
No,
it's always been over there. Okay,
it was at the 4-H barn.
Yeah,
for years and years and years. We moved here in '82, and that's where I took the kids first.
And then it went to
the JS Bridwell.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. And it's been there, I believe, since the JS Bridwell's been open.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Okay, cool.
All right. Also, another big event coming up: Riverbend Nature Center is going to have their butterfly exhibit, which is a phenomenal exhibit here in Wichita Falls, and it's a phenomenal family, and it's born out of tragedy. Actually, the Pretty family lost their granddaughter actually to a snake bite.
Oh yeah,
she was bitten by a snake and died years ago. And in her honor, they donated this money and for this facility of the butterflies, and because she loved butterflies. But it is so neat to go in there and see all the butterflies and the chrysalises and the way the whole process works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's cool. And go get some pancakes and then come over here.
Yeah, absolutely. But because it's going to go from 10 to 2.
Yep.
And by the way, Riverbend Nature Center, and we had Jenica in probably 2 or 3 months ago. We have her on occasionally. Had her on the radio. Such a neat place in Wichita Falls to actually have a conservatory and have a place where kids can go and learn about animals and that sort of thing right here in town.
Yeah.
You know, the displays there, I've taken my kids when they were little. I've taken my grandkids there. But, I mean, for them to be able to pick up and hold, lizards, turtles, for them to see all of the things that are right there. And there are so many different individual cases with reptiles, and it's just amazing. And to have it right here in Wichita Falls, and it's just it's a great time.
Absolutely. My daughter Brittany worked there as a docent over the years several different times, like as a side job or in the summertime when she was teaching and that sort of thing. It's great. Jenica Lambert's been there for a long time. Of course, she's the executive director now. Right. Great person, and go support them. But go check out this butterfly conservatory, because you're not going to see anything like that in even a lot of big cities. You're not going to see something like this.
No.
Right. All right. Well, cool. Well, then let's see. So
on to the news. Texan election officials turned over a state's voter registration data to the U.S. Department of Justice. So the U.S. Department of Justice asked all of the states to do this, and the whole reason behind it is to scrub these voter registrations and try to ensure that we have fair elections. And here's where I'm a big fan of this, because if the people of Portland, Oregon want to say you have to be a left-handed redhead named Jeff to be on the city council, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to Portland. You do what you want to do in your city. You do what you want to do in your city. You do what you want to do in your county. You do what you want to do in your state. But when you have officials that are going to be going to Washington, D.C., we need some sort of elected official. The voting needs to be consistent.
That's the key. If we have consistency nationwide in the voter rolls, that ensures that the elected officials that deal with all of our pocketbooks that come from states with different views than we have.
That's right.
They're elected by the same people, meet the same standards there that we meet here.
That you're a U.S. citizen voting.
Well, and you live and the fact is, it's okay. If you have a different idea than I have, that's what America's all about.
Absolutely.
As long as you're legal and you're legal to vote and you're legal to serve in that capacity, because here's the problem. Like in Texas, Ted Cruz can't live in Walla Walla, Washington, and be a state senator in the state of Texas. He has to live in Texas. Ronnie Jackson has to live in Texas. They have to live in the district they represent.
Absolutely.
That's not the same in California. Nancy Pelosi has not lived in the district she represents for years. There's several of them in the country that are that way. They don't have to have the same standards. And the problem with that is all of those people affect everything, because their votes affect everything. That's what I'm saying. Above state, if state level, you do what you want. State level and below, I can either come to your state or not come to your state.
Right.
That's my choice. But I'm not going to leave the country because it's questionable that you should have been elected to Congress.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm all in favor of this.
Right.
Harmeet Dillon, who's super, super substantial lawyer, and she's all over this and saying this. The reason behind this is just like Steve said, fair elections, consistent elections.
Well, and make sure that and there's some other efforts going on with trying to scrub the rolls also to make sure that because I guess there's in Congress right now they're still working on something about trying to get the I think it was in Congress or was it in Texas? I don't remember now. Anyway, they're trying to get it where you show another proof of citizenship, not just proof of residency, because that's what it does now.
I saw that report earlier this week. That's a new proposal.
Right.
We'll see how far that flies.
I don't think you need to have 15 pieces of documents.
No.
I think one document. I do think you got to show your ID. By the way, I don't think they can get rid of these little stupid voter registration cards. I can walk in and say, "Yeah, I'm Steve Garner."
Right.
It has no picture on it.
Nope.
It has nothing. Who's gonna question that? As long as I know your address and your name, I can go in and say that's me. Yeah. I think you use your state issued ID.
Yep.
And by the way, everybody can get a state issued ID for free.
Right.
If you free. That's FREE.
You do not have to pay a penny to get a state issued ID in the state of Texas.
And that is an acceptable form of photo ID at the voting booth.
Yep.
And by the way, it's an acceptable form ID to rent a hotel room, to get on an airplane. That's what I don't understand. You've got to show IDs for so many things in this country to be able to participate in that.
Yep.
But yet people say you shouldn't have to show an ID to participate in
in
arguably the most important thing we do.
Yeah, right. And we've talked about this before. I think the penalties for violating voting laws should be high, very, very high, because it would just ensure that people. It's such a simple thing in a way, but yet it carries a great deal of responsibility. And if you're going to go and try to violate laws on it, then you need to be that you need that is it. I don't know. I just think it needs to be very high penalties, and it'll probably outdo some drug, convictions or whatever. But hey, that's okay, I think, because we need to have that separation of to make it so it needs to be high impact if you mess up. That's all.
Well, the integrity of your elections.
The integrity is high, yeah.
And that is just that as Americans, that is our. I don't know if
we need to protect it.
Top duty, but it is one of our most important.
Well,
duties.
I spent 20 years in the Air Force doing my little part to protect our freedoms, and this is a responsibility and a freedom that that other parts of the world do not enjoy. And so I did my part, and I think the integrity of the elections is man, it needs to be a priority.
Paramount.
Yes. So, all right, cool. So what else we got?
Well, we can talk about civil unrest in Minnesota.
Yes.
The fecal matter is hitting the fan in Minnesota in several different ways.
And that the whole initial knee-jerk reaction, I understand it, but time has allowed certain things to come out, like just yesterday with the nurse Preddy. That this isn't the first time. It wasn't like he just showed up this one time and then suddenly he's now getting attacked. Well, no, he actually already had an incident like sometime prior. A week prior. Okay. So this is, so they're trying to paint him as this, patriot and all of this. And maybe he's a great nurse and maybe he did a great job and that's all that. And that's the other thing. In so many things in our world right now, especially, it can be they can be a good person and did whatever they did. Let's not take that away. But yet they can also do bad things or wrong things or irresponsible things. And I think he did a lot of irresponsible things. And I sent you that video. I don't know if you saw it, the one that attorney. Yeah. So this guy, kind of perspective I didn't even think about. But when you
the whole perspective I've had since the beginning.
Well, no, I know, but I hadn't thought about it in that light. But you'd have to watch it. But basically, this guy was talking about. I think he was an attorney, but he pointed out that when you are but when you have earned or gone through the process of getting a concealed carry permit, or just actually whether you've got the permit in Texas, we don't have to have it.
Anytime you carry a weapon.
Right now, right. But anytime you're carrying it, you have a high level of responsibility, and when you do not, you're supposed to when you don't put yourself in a situation that you're gonna. If you can avoid a situation where you might have to pull your weapon. If you can avoid it, avoid it.
Right. So here's the whole thing on this whole deal. First off, I think it's asinine for Tim Walz and for Jacob Fry to come out and say that these ICE agents are out there to kill people. I think it's
not asinine. It's irresponsible and provocative.
But I also think it's asinine and provocative for Kristi Noem to come out and call these people domestic terrorists.
Right.
These people are agitators.
Yeah.
Okay. It's this, but when it's all said and done, and both of these shootings involve police, we need to have investigations.
Yep.
And the officers need to be held. I'm the first person to say, as a pro law enforcement as I am and have been, if an officer does something wrong, they do something wrong.
Right.
And they should be held accountable. So, but let the investigation play out. Quit on both sides, Kristi Noem, Bovino, and Tim Walz and Fry. Quit racing to a microphone to start screaming into a microphone something that you shouldn't do. But in the end, whether these police officers are found to be liable, and if they are, I want them punished or to an appropriate amount, not 30 days in the electric chair necessarily, but I want them punished the appropriate amount if they're found responsible. But when it's all said and done, the responsibility of those two people that are dead ultimately were choices that they made to put themselves in that situation.
Well, right.
Not fair. Not that they should have been shot, but it's the same thing as that lady who got shot at the Capitol. I had no sympathy for her getting shot at the Capitol, and I clearly said that on the radio at the time. I was very clear about it, because had she not been there trying to get in the Capitol when she shouldn't have been, she wouldn't have gotten shot. And it's the same as these people. These people are not did not get shot peacefully protesting. Peaceful protesters are standing 30 yards away or 30 feet away with a sign, screaming, hollering, blowing their whistles on the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. When you insert yourself into a police operation, you are taking a chance.
Oh, yeah.
And what people need to quit doing is quit looking at these as cops. Look at them as people with guns.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, and it's just how I believe, I've always thought this, the fact of the matter is, if Terry walks in and Steve's got a gun, and Steve points a gun and says, "Put your hands on your head," what are you going to do?
Put my hands on my
You're
head.
goddamn right. But because he's got a gun and he wins.
Right.
You know, if he walks in and says, "Put your hands on your head or I'm going to kick the crap out of you," and he's not got a gun, you might take your chances.
Right.
But that's what I'm getting at. You look at people that have guns. Yes, they're police officers, but they're people who have guns. Look at them as they have more authority. They have more power than you do right now.
Whether it's right or not, that's a different
Doesn't
story.
matter.
You
The only
live
time-
through it so that you can deal with it later.
That's exactly right. It's the same thing as I've ridden motorcycles. I'm a motorcyclist. Been ridden motorcycles for years. I've had friends who get cut off by a car and I kick their fender. I'm like, "Are you crazy?
Yeah.
You're on 2 wheels. They're on 4. I don't care if they're in a Yugo. They win. A smart car, they win every time."
Yeah, I know. It's
Smart car? No, I'm just kidding.
Which you're a dumbass if you have a smart car, by the
yeah,
way.
you're not real
No,
smart.
But if I'm on 2 wheels, if I'm on a motorcycle, and a motorist cuts me off or whatever, the last thing I want to do is get involved with them. I want to get the hell away.
Yeah.
So the whole point is, yes, I do think anytime anybody dies is tragic, but you have to put this in perspective. Does anybody believe that the 2 police officers that shot those people went to work that morning and said, "I'm going to kill somebody"?
Nope.
no.
They did not do that. Look, killing somebody, when you take a life, it is a traumatic experience. Right. It's one of those deals that, so 2 lives are affected, more than 2 lives, but 2 lives are right then affected: the person who is killed and the person who does the killing.
Yeah. Well, and all of this though, there's different levels of. It's like the military. We're talking about all that whole deal with them, with Kelly and all of them telling us or telling the military not to follow the orders and blah blah blah. Well, you know, I wish it was that easy, because how am I at a level of, even if I'm a colonel in the Air Force, colonel may have a little more authority, but if you're a captain or a sergeant or a whatever in the military, especially an airman, lower ranking person, how are you supposed to interpret the laws of armed conflict? Yeah, we get briefed every year. We had all this, but this isn't as clear cut as you might like to think it is. Whether the bombing or taking out the drug runners or whatever. And this same thing in this case is these guys are following orders. Now, does that mean they follow them blindly? No, but there's enough room for interpretation, if you will, that it could go either way. And so you follow your orders and you go on and you try to do your best. And are these guys new? A lot of them, they've had these shortened courses and becoming an ICE agent and all of that.
Some of them are.
Right. And so there's some
I don't think either
inexperience.
one of these in the killing were involved
No,
in that.
but
Those
well,
were seasoned veterans.
Right. Well,
Both of those guys were seasoned.
Right. Okay. But and then on top of that, you got to look at, when you do dig into the details of the situation, whether or not, because it has to do with the interpretation. Is it a reasonable belief that those ICE officers had believe there was a gun? Somebody yelled gun, and in a high pressure situation like that, or they said gun, or somebody yelled something. If I remember, if they've already taken it apart, but basically they pulled it out, they saw it, and they somebody shot, and next thing you know, all hell breaks loose, and that happens in seconds or less, in milliseconds. And so you got to look at it and see. That's the thing. They've been, demonizing these guys, and they're not. They're just trying to do their job. And whether you agree with the whole operation or not, it doesn't matter. You got to put it in context, and don't inject yourself in these things. But everybody has some responsibility along the way, and ultimately, it's all of the things at the same time. Yes, maybe they made some mistakes. Yes, maybe the guy himself put himself in that situation. Yes, he carried a weapon to it. Yes, he did all of these things that led all of this. Any individual item of that up to a point can be viewed, and yes, it's right, but then it's also could be wrong in a certain context. So just let it all settle out, like you're saying, and let's let the system work.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about your you're irresponsible to race to a microphone, and it's on both sides. And by the way, I am glad that Donald Trump basically pulled Kristi Noem and Bovina. Is it the border? Bovino. I'm glad he pulled him out of there and sent Tom Homan in. First off, is there a scarier looking guy in the world than Tom Homan?
Well, let me tell you how grateful I am for Tom Homan's service. Look at the history that man has built in his capacity. He was given a medal by Obama for the job he did. Yeah. And he is exactly the person to get that situation under control.
Yeah, he's the adult in the room, apparently.
And not only is he the adult in the room, but he has the ability to get that message across to the kids in the room. It's not just yelling and by force, right? But he's got the ability to bring those people to the table and say, "Look, this is what's going to happen. We have to work together to make it happen." Mm-hmm. And I can help with that with your help and input. Let's work together somehow and get this under control.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting the reaction from the governor and everything, and once this all kind of settled out, they're realizing this is real, and that they're getting pushed back too, and so finally, hopefully they can work this out.
If you look carefully at what's gone on the last 9 weeks now, 10 weeks, it's less than 50,000 people in a state of 12 million, and it's not any different in my mind to the Antifa situation in 2000, 2002. Yeah. And look at what's happened in Memphis. Look at what's happened across the country in blue cities. None of this has happened. Right. This is an opportunity by a group that wants to raise Cain. Mm-hmm. And they see it. And in this day and age of digital recordings of everything, they've been recorded. And I feel that Trump and Homan's intervention is because they've got the goods. Mm-hmm. Fry knows it, Walls knows it, and they have to do something.
Yeah. Well, and you're absolutely right. And what people don't understand is if you care about somebody, if you really want to protect people, the way to protect your citizenry is to let the ICE officers know when you have somebody in jail. They send one person, maybe two, to go to your jail facility and pick this person up. Yeah. They don't send a whole bunch of people into a neighborhood. No. They don't go kick down doors. They don't have to. No. So if you'll follow if you care about all these people you say you're going to care about, let them do their job to go and safely. And by the way, it's safer for the person. It's safer for the person who's being arrested. Yeah. It's much safer than I'm going to go kick your door down and maybe crap's going to hit the fan and bullets are going to start flying and all that. Because very rarely does somebody do an ICE agent. I don't know that in the history of ICE agents if they've ever shown up at a jail and the jailer hands over somebody and then somebody gets shot. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. No. Right, because because it's methodical.
It's an orderly transfer
controlled
of
situation.
everything.
It's orderly.
Yes,
Orderly is a
yes,
great. That's the best word for it.
Right, and it's controlled. It's and you're following the law. I mean, gee, let's do that. How about, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
oh well.
Okay, moving on to Amazon.
Moving on.
Yeah, Amazon is undergoing what they're calling significant corporate restructuring, laying off approximately 16,000 people. Now, they laid off 14,000 people in October, and they're ramping up investments on AI. Terry ought to love that. And but they're trying to say that they're trying to shed some of their management levels of management.
Right.
Now, you hate to hear that 16,000 people are losing their jobs. But when you have to put it in perspective, and that's why I put this on here, Amazon employs about 1.55 million people.
Yeah.
So 16,000, while it's horrible, and the 14,000, it's horrible for them and their families and their immediate. It's a relatively small. It's not Amazon's laying off half its workforce.
No, they're and it's part of even in sometimes even the best of times. Companies will still lay off people because they realize they'll during a growth period there's some inefficiencies that surface, and then they go back and they right size and they get people back down, and they so it's it's just a natural process.
Well, the whole thing is Amazon package delivery, Amazon fulfillment, they're not laying people off there. They're hiring people like crazy there,
right?
Because that's growing,
right?
But in the end, that's still a relatively small part of their business. The big side of their business is the computer side.
Oh yeah, that's where they make
all their money.
Yeah.
But that's where AI can help them.
Yeah.
So that's who's losing their job. It's not the delivery worker who dropped off your box yesterday.
Right.
Those people are not losing their jobs. There's more and more of those people that are being recruited and being paid more.
Right.
And this was something that was said. The early days of AI, people were kind of worried about. It's like, oh, what about these plumbers and this and that? It's like, nah, delivery workers, plumbers, that sort of thing, carpenters. You can't do that crap AI.
No,
those people are going to have
jobs. They got the little carts and robots and things that are doing some of that, but but we're not going to see that.
They're not delivering it to your house. We don't have this. We don't have Terminator delivering to your house.
Well, not here. But they do have in Dallas and other places. They've got little and they've been hitting the ice.
They don't have a robot that walks up to your house and sticks it at your doorstep.
No, it's delivering. It's showing up, and you walk out and you get it out of the thing.
No, I said put it on your doorstep. I didn't say walk out there.
They got drones that are dropping.
I know that there are some things, but what I'm telling you is you're still going to have people because not everybody's at home. No. Not everybody's at home to receive their package.
Right.
So you're always going to have people who can show up. Now, at some point, will they have robots that can do that? Maybe so. But right now, and in the very near future, you're not going to have robots that can go and make all the deliveries that need to be made.
Well, no, absolutely not. But they're experimenting. So, but anyway, but let me on the AI front. So most, at least the small businesses I know around here are not laying people off. We're having a hard time finding people and keeping them that show up. And anyway, I won't get into that. But anyway,
that's the number one question you ask people now is, will you show up if I hire you?
That's right. The assumption is.
We just all three laughed at that. But that is a state of hiring right now.
Absolutely true.
I know. I'm having.
That's shocking to me.
Well,
as somebody who worked a career and always showed up to work.
Yeah,
and always,
I know.
It's like, what do you mean, will I show up for work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to show up for work.
No, it's a question you have to ask.
It's a different mentality.
Yeah. Well, and you got to be clear that it's in right. Well, where'd they all go?
I don't know.
But here's the thing, though. My point of all this is that even if you had a full staff, look into and take advantage and learn about AI, because you're going to find some things it will do that you may not have even done anyway. Like those ads and the ad that I made. I probably was not going to go pay anybody to do that. But I was like, well, let me take advantage of this. Let me learn it. And it made some cool little things, and it's not perfect by far, but it definitely is something that can make your business a little more efficient and do a little more that maybe, because especially if you're having trouble finding people, that maybe there's some of those things that you can take advantage of technology-wise that can then relieve some of that pressure off of you.
Yeah.
So just, so keep that in mind, and if you need some help.
The video that we made up here, that Eddie and Ursi came in, and then I did. Okay, that's part of a 2-minute video. Eddie and Ursi's part was about 15 seconds.
Right.
Mine was about 5 seconds, and the rest of it's AI generated.
Right. So yeah, I mean it's some cool stuff that's out there, and just, but again, it's not things that it's not going to necessarily at our level, at our small business level, it's going to replace anybody necessarily, but it can certainly make you do things that you would have probably just decided not to worry about, but can make your business better.
Yeah.
And so,
and also what the problem what people don't understand is workers who are not showing up to work and stuff like that, they're driving businesses to find this. Yep. This is why McDonald's has some autonomous McDonald's. They have McDonald's now that there's one employee
Fort Worth,
there.
right?
There's more than one of them that has one employee there. There's one person a human being who's there. You never see them, by the way. They're there to make sure all the stuff's running. But they did that because for so many years, franchisors had a hard time finding employees.
Yep.
And so at some point, you kind of reap what you sow.
Yeah.
If enough people don't really show up to work and that sort of thing.
I think COVID accelerated it. Because think about how many times you saw kiosks and other things show up and people just didn't use them. They showed up and they got rid of them before COVID. And then COVID sort of and then we couldn't find employees after COVID, and then now they're there and they've stayed. Mm-hmm. Now you see the kiosks and you're using them.
People are using,
and they're doing self-checkout. Before COVID, the self-checkout places where the line was still on the main one. Now the lines are at the damn self-checkout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's partly
You make an excellent point. I was that buyer, and I just didn't care for the self-checkout.
I still don't, but
Well, I do. I prefer now.
Yeah, I know. Lucy, my wife
I'm
does.
Shopping, if that option's there, that's the first place I go.
Right.
What's the Panera Bread on Kemp?
Mm-hmm.
They've got
the kiosk
before you get up there, and when they first put those in years ago, I didn't use them. Now I would rather take the 45 seconds to place my order and then go sit down and talk with whoever I'm with.
Right.
Rather than wait in line behind somebody and then place my order. That's just my choice.
Right.
I like the ease of it and
also the accuracy.
Yeah.
That's
another.
The first time
true.
you don't have to worry about, did you understand my order? The first time I ever used a kiosk at a restaurant was in France. Was at McDonald's. We had the family, and sometimes when you're traveling like that and stuff, we try to eat the local cuisine and stuff. But sometimes when you're going from point A to point B and it's a long haul, and there's a Mickey D's on the motorway, and you're like, hell, let's just go in there and grab something to eat. It's it because, by the way, a cheeseburger in France, a cheeseburger in Germany, a cheeseburger in the UK tastes exactly the same as it does here. The chicken nuggets taste different in Germany, but the cheeseburger. But anyhow, so went into France. I speak zero French.
Right.
That's about all I know. But yet they had this kiosk, and I'm like, oh, I'll have that and that, and it's got pictures and everything like that. I don't care what they call a damn cheeseburger in France or a Big Mac. There's pictures of everything. Yeah. Do I want lettuce? Do I want sauce? Do I want whatever? And then a guy walked up and said, however they say thank you in French. Merci. There you go. Merci. Yeah, merci. Yeah. And so I understand the ease as well. I tend to like the personal touch, and I tend to like to try to interact with people, but there are times when it makes sense.
Right. Well, but if all you're doing as far as training your employees just to push buttons and they have no personality or whatever, then you're just as you might as well have the kiosk.
I totally agree with you. In fact, you're better off.
Right.
You're better because the kiosk is not going to piss anybody off by being aloof.
No.
But you have somebody who will.
But it is. Okay. But here's the thing. So I think the only one of the big criticisms is if you don't go to a particular restaurant that often, then you're not familiar, and it takes you much longer. Plus, you want some recommendations. You want in certain places. Yeah, it's like, I've never been here before. Can you tell me about the menu? I do that all the time if I've never been there. Yeah. And so I like having that, and especially, of course, I try to go when I go to a little town or something. I try to look for a local locally owned
Yeah,
business.
but your big chains, whoever's working the counter probably
Right.
didn't know anything.
Well,
about
that's
it.
true, but you know,
Yeah, I don't either.
I've asked quite.
I wouldn't eat this crap.
My first experience at Panera was in Nashville, outside the airport. When I was waiting for a friend, I was going to go pick him up because I had driven. And anyway, I did not have a good experience the very first time, and that was when. And I tried it because I said, "Oh, we're getting a Panera," and it was right before COVID. Yeah. And sure enough, it turned out to be a bad experience. But you know, I called and provided some feedback, and then they actually gave me some coupons, and so now I do go to Panera now. So, but
All right, let's talk about snowpocalypse. I'm assuming everybody here made it through snowpocalypse or icepocalypse 2026. Fine.
It cracks me up that we get 2 inches of ice and 4 inches of snow, and we are shut down for 4 days.
I think the school district is still shut today.
Are they on? Are they still today?
I know they were. I believe so.
I know they were yesterday.
Yeah, they were the whole week. Yeah, and by the way, the tag office, the county tag office, they work off the same hours as the school district, and they've been shut.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So anyhow. A lot of it is about talking about the grid. By the way, though, you were in the automobile business for a million years. Of course, the number one thing that keeps people off. You and I did not talk about this.
Okay.
The number one things that keep people off the car lot is ice, obviously.
Yes.
What's the number 2 weather condition?
Wind.
I told you. I knew it.
Wind.
Every car guy I've ever known will say that. Ice is number 1. Wind is number 2. Rain is behind wind.
Yeah, people will go out in the rain and shop. When it's windy, if it gets up over 20 miles an hour, people will not shop for a car.
Yep.
It's the craziest thing. I mean, second, third year I was in the business, and we had one of those typical, Texas days when the wind was just howling out of the southwest, 20, 25 miles an hour. And we got to 2 o'clock. We hadn't had a single person on the lot. And I was working with a guy named Wayburn Ritchie at that time. And I went into Wayburn's office, and I said, is there something going on in town? It was a Saturday. I said, something going on in town today? He says, no. Why you ask? I said, well, we haven't had any customers. He said, the wind's blowing. And I said, what do you mean the wind's blowing, Wayburn? He said, wind blows, gets over 20, 25 miles an hour, people won't shop. And I said, what are you talking about?
Yep.
And he said, they won't shop in the wind. Women don't want to get their hair blown. They don't like doors being yanked out of their hand into the car next to it. They're not going to get out and shop. In the wind.
So would I get a better deal on a windy day? Oh.
You know what? You might.
You might. I didn't even think about that. But it's.
But I'm going to buy a car next.
I've asked everybody who's been in the automobile business longer than a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Because the newbies don't know anything.
No.
But cup of coffee, and I've asked them, we all know ice is number 1 because if you slip it and slide, but number 2 is wind. So
on the last day of the month, and I want it to be windy. There you go. Now I'll make a deal.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So power outages. Let's talk about the grid. People were so worried about the grid. Is the grid going to crash? Is it going to work? So I looked it up. I looked up some statistics. And now I'm not downplaying the fact that if you're one of these 150,000 people, that's a sucky day for you. Mm-hmm. But how big is Texas?
Big. It's massive.
How many? I mean, think about how many people live in Texas. How many homes is there? 35 million homes in Texas or whatever it is.
I don't know.
And 150,000 people lost power.
Right, and I think some of that, when I was looking at it, though, some of that was in the grid that's on the east. There's a
lot of it's East Texas.
Right, which was not even in our grid.
Right, yeah,
so,
they're in the Louisiana grid.
Right. So,
and you got to never know about those Louisiana Cajuns and running their grid down there.
That's right.
You get that squirrel spinning out there, get that cage going there so we can get some power out there. But no, it is pretty phenomenal how between the 2021 and the 20 and,
but
and
this was
one,
not as bad though.
It wasn't as bad,
right?
But it could have been a problem.
Here's the blessing in this. In 21, we had freezing rain for nearly 8 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Freezing rain. This event, it was just sleet, and it just bounced off the power lines.
Right.
It didn't stick to the power lines.
Right.
We didn't have freezing rain much.
Right.
It went straight to sleet and then converted over to snow.
Right.
Saturday
Well,
night.
but I think what the main thing was, of course, was the capacity to handle the load. That's what we were much more prepared for, because you can't do anything if you're gonna if it's gonna rain and then freeze on and they're gonna break. There's nothing.
Nothing.
You can have all the capacity you want, but it's going to break something. I mean, if you break something, you got to get it fixed. So, but I think the grid was prepared. I think I was watching it. I think it dropped. They had there's this graph that showed when they were tapping into the reserve, and it only went up one little notch out of 20 different notches. So it was, I thought they did pretty good
job.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I really do. Of course, one of the biggest things, the takeaways in 2021 is they did not have the natural gas backup ready to go.
Right.
It wasn't fired up.
Right.
Because, look, it ain't like your little home generator where you go out there on your Honda and your 5,000 watt generator, you pull the cord and it cranks up, you're going. We're talking these massive generators that take a while to heat up and get going. And when all that stuff's frozen and all the fittings are frozen because you hadn't kept them heated, it could cause a problem.
Right. Well, and the whole thing is you don't just flip a switch like your point. Oh, hey, it's getting more electricity. Let's go. No, they have to be prepared, ready to go, warmed up, and actually generating electricity and ready to switch in as needed.
ERCOT does not have one big red lever on their wall that they go and flip at one time.
It's a major deal, and that's the thing, So,
but I'm going to give them credit. My point is, I think I do agree with you. This was not as bad as 21 event. It wasn't as big a test, but there were a lot of people that were concerned about it.
Oh, sure.
And I do believe that they've kind of gotten their fecal matter in order there and done a lot better job. And I think they were a lot more prepared. Right. And had we had an event like 2021, I don't think it would have been as bad.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. So. And that's what the whole thing. Unfortunately, our tax money and whatever went into this. But the biggest issue I think that came out of all of that is now I'm going to be paying, I think it's $5 or $8 a month, and I have 2 meters for the next 20 years.
Yeah, for 20
years
because of that,
borrow. Right? Because they had the individual, like in my case, it's JAC, it's a co-op, and they had to spend millions of dollars over that they didn't anticipate, and so they got in the hole, and of course I guess the laws allow them to tack that on to us, and we're going to have to pay for it for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up, because we'll leave this next item, but you had something you want to talk about the turning point.
Oh my gosh, yes! Thank you so much, Trey.
Always looking out for you.
Thank you. Midwestern State University has a brand new Turning Point USA chapter, and I had the pleasure to meet with. Her name is Emily Antonio.
Is that the Brain Trust right there? Look at that.
That was just. We had a bunch of people in the community. Tyler Methvin was there. Austin Cobb was there. Mayor Tim Short was there. Michael Mitchell was there. Bill and Anita Lockwood were there. And they were there just to listen to Emily talk about her background. She's a military brat. Her father's stationed here at Shepherd. They've been here, I think she said 6 or 8 years. But she is in her second year at MSU, and her heart for Christ just oozed out of her yesterday. We had the wonderful opportunity to sit for about 30, 40 minutes just to hear her story and the story about Turning Point USA at MSU. The chapter's only a few weeks old, and they've already got 25 members, and I'm just thrilled that MSU now has an option for those kids that want to be heard, and I'm excited about that.
I think it's great. I think anytime you can get groups together, like colleges and things like that, where people can go, because college is supposed to be a place to go and learn and discovery.
Yes.
And so for so many
That's
years.
such a good word, discovery.
Yeah, I mean, Pete, a lot of times people, it's okay. It's a hard cast right there. Oh my God. Garner just took me down. No, it really is. And that's what college is supposed to be. And for the last few years, there's been all these groups that want to protest these people coming in and this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, let everybody be there.
Yeah.
Let them do their thing as long as it's legal. Let them do their thing. And that way you have people who come from different backgrounds. That's the beauty of America. Yeah. We have people not only that come from different parts of the country, come from other countries and learn in our universities. And you don't need, it's fine if you have the lesbian knitting club. I don't care, whatever you want to have, but then have this and have that and have all these different opportunities for people to do things. And I think it's great. By the way, when you talk about that, 4 of those people there have been on our podcast.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yep. So
we need to have Bill Lockwood.
Yep. So, everybody but Bill, I guess. But anyhow, I think that's great. I think it's great that you went and were part of that. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I think it's important. We talked about this beforehand. While Charlie Kirk's assassination was tragic for his family and for his friends and a lot of people that like Charlie Kirk or whatever like that, a lot of times deaths are basically needless and not a lot comes out of them, in my opinion. This is one where not just a little bit of good, but a lot of good has come out of this. And it was the most significant assassination of a public figure, probably, I guess, since Kennedy.
I mean, it moved hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people to action. And you're right. There hasn't been something like that in a while.
Yeah, well, which we don't want to have happen. But
no, we don't want that to happen.
Of course,
but at least if it happens, his family at least has the solace of knowing that his death did not go in vain.
Yeah.
So, but Turning Point USA, and so, or not Turning Point, is it Turning Point USA?
Turning Point USA
so,
at Midwestern State University.
So if somebody is interested, do they have a Facebook page,
They have a Facebook page, and as a matter of fact, Terry's got it.
Well, that was actually hers, right? Or did you send another link?
I thought it was the Turning Point USA page.
No, no, it was hers. It's Emily. That's
Emily
her.
Antonio.
Yeah, that's her post.
She's the I don't know if it's president or chairman. I don't know what her exact title is.
Right.
But she's the one. But
she's the head cheese there.
Yeah. If you'll on Facebook, just go to Turning Point USA, Midwestern State University, and it'll pull up.
Okay. So Turning Point.
Well, people can do that.
Yeah. Well,
they don't have to watch you do it.
Yeah. Well, it's not on there.
Anyhow.
Anyway.
All right. Well, great show. Thank you very much. We appreciate Steve Garner. Thanks again for being in, as always. And next week's guest, I don't have it written down, I believe is well, if you'll scroll down.
Yes,
it's loaded in the prompter. I used to write it down. You put it in the prompter here. Scroll down Tobin McDuff.
Tobin,
Yeah, Tobin McDuff is going to be in with us. Yeah. Yeah, so
our longtime sportscaster.
Yes, legendary sportscaster in Wichita Falls. And so Tobin McDuff is going to be there, our guest next week. And
all right, cool.
I called Tobin. I interviewed Tobin. I did one of my radio stints I did. There was an ESPN, a local ESPN affiliate.
Yes,
and I had a show. I had 2 shows on that local ESPN affiliate, and I actually interviewed Tobin, and I did a 45-minute sit-down interview with Tobin McDuff. Fascinating background. Yeah. He's a really neat guy, really nice guy, really good guy, but also a fascinating background. The way he got to Wichita Falls, obviously, I'm not going to talk about it right now. Right. He can talk about it next week. And so when we were talking, I'm in charge of booking guests, and so I kind of looking around, I thought, you know what? I've interviewed Tobin before. He's a great interview, obviously. Yeah. He's very knowledgeable. He's very well known. So I'm going to call him. And I called him, and he said, hell yeah.
All right. Well, hey, man, he's going to grace us with his presence.
That's right.
All right. Well, man, we want to have us join us next week.
That's right.
And 7:30. And
Tobin McDuff.
Yep. Well, I was just saying, we're at 7:30. Friday, same place, same channel, same back
Steve,
channel.
thanks for being here. We
really thanks for coming. And as Mike always said, that we will see you down the road.